Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. In today's video it is the 1st of August, so it is my monthly check-in. For those that are not familiar with the style of video that I do on my channel, I do not weigh myself. The scales is not a measure of progress that I use. I find it very toxic and very mentally taxing for me to weigh myself, so I haven't done that in a while. In a very long time actually on my channel. So my measure of progress that I use is progress shots, measurements and a gold try on clothing section at the end. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be recapping how last month went, and then I will set some intentions for the month ahead at the end of the video. So in terms of how this month has gone, I feel like it's gone like every other month that I've had this year, spanning back to like last August and probably before that. I am at the point now where it's sort of laughable, the progress that I've not made. I am feeling really frustrated in myself, not in anyone else. I have no one else to blame for my lack of progress that I've had in probably the last 2 years other than myself. I feel like I've probably made other priorities other than weight loss, even if it's in the back of my mind. And yeah, I'm just at the point where I am fed up and something needs to change. I remember vividly doing a video like this back in August, and I had sort of a breakdown for the same reason, that I was really frustrated with how much progress I hadn't made throughout the year. And I'm at that point again, so I'm just sort of really angry with myself. There have been a lot of things that have been going on over the last sort of year. I have had the drama with the kitchen that has took months. I've had some other sort of like health issues and things like that I've been dealing with, a lot of stresses. But at the end of the day, I need to prioritise what is most important. And I feel like I haven't been prioritising my weight loss and my health as much as I probably should have been. I feel like I'm the queen of excuses. Any sort of excuse to not do what I'm supposed to be doing, I take it. Whenever I drop the ball, I drop the ball for a very long time rather than picking it back up and getting back on it. Like the kitchen, for example, there are so many things that I could have done to work around the issues and the stresses and things like that, and I just chose not to. So yeah, no one to blame but myself. I don't want to sort of ramble on about it or go into and try and make extra excuses for it. I've just not done enough, and that's part and parcel of it really. So yeah, as you can tell, I'm very annoyed at myself for everything that's been going on. And yeah, I had a really good chat with my dad and sort of put it into perspective about how I was really feeling. And I have always compared myself to my past self, both with my weight loss journey, my training, things like that. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to fully snap out of that habit. I do feel like I've got better with comparing myself to my past weight loss journey. For those that are not familiar, I have lost 120 pounds in the past and I gained quite a lot of it back. So I am basically on this journey second time around, and I'm finding it really hard. So yeah, I just had to sort of look back at the aspects of my life back then to compare it to now. And the way that my dad sort of said it was that you've got to weigh up whether you were happy back then or now, or whether there's a combination of both lifestyles that you could maybe put together into one to make it your happiest self and your happiest life, I guess. Obviously, with regards to my body and my weight and things like that, obviously I don't know what I weigh right now and don't have any intention of stepping on scales. But I do feel like the body that I had back then and the sort of confidence and things that came from that is something that I really, really want back. However, there were other parts of my life that I just feel like weren't maintainable over the long term. I was exercise obsessed basically, to the point where I probably exercised for the majority of my life back then. I was doing a lot of swimming, a lot of cycling, a lot of running. I was doing triathlon training and things like that, and it just sort of took over. On top of that, obviously, I had it in my mind about my weight all the time. I was always really conscious about gaining weight after I'd lost it all. And I think that was just sort of what tipped me over the edge to go the other way. We'd moved, there was a lot of like stress with that, and like I said, I just feel like I'm the queen of excuses. Whenever something comes up, I sort of focus on that one thing and lose track of everything else. So over time I've just gained weight back, and I've become less active and things like that, and obviously now I'm not tracking. So yeah, it's just a lot of combinations of things, but no one to sort of blame but myself. At the end of the day, I have to do this stuff for myself and not blame anyone else for my lack of progress. So going forward, I am just going to be very aware of not blaming anyone else or making excuses for what I haven't done, and just really focus on the goals that I have. So I guess I'll recap the goals that I had set. Obviously I haven't achieved a lot of them, but I think it's important to sort of look back on what I had set as an intention for last month. I had intended to restart the Jumpstart June, which obviously then became Jumpstart July. I had set a challenge that I was doing with Maria in the month of June. However, things came up which sort of sidetracked that with me getting COVID. So the intention was to restart that challenge for July, and honestly, it just hasn't come into my mind at all. I don't think I even looked at the challenge spreadsheet after I'd sort of said these words last month. So that just didn't come to fruition at all. I had obviously intended on continuing my marathon training, which has been the only positive for this month really. I have continued to do my marathon training. I've been really consistent with that. I've been really happy with achieving the long runs despite it being very hard. As I've mentioned in my training updates, marathon training is very, very hard at the moment. All the extra weight that I'm carrying is not good for marathon training, and I'm just finding it really, really like mentally and physically tough. But I am really happy that I'm still knocking out those long runs, still getting them done. I haven't skipped any of my long runs or shortened the distance on any of them, so I am really pleased with how that is going. I had intended on tracking every day and making sure that I knew the food that I was eating. I have mentioned, I think I'd mentioned it in my last update video, that I was going to be prioritising my training over my weight loss. That is still what's going to be happening, because I don't feel like restricting my food to hit weight loss goals is going to be good for my marathon training, because I don't want it to adversely affect any of the training that I'm doing. So yeah, I'll talk about that at the end of the video. But other than that, I don't think I had any other sort of... Yes, I did. I just remembered I had a gym goal as well, to get back in the gym. I had cleared out the gym of everything that was in here to sort of start strength training again and sort of focus on recovery after runs. I do feel like I've made more of an effort to focus on the recovery, making sure that I'm stretching, doing like massage gun on areas of my body for like recovery, but in terms of strength training, I haven't done any. The gym again has become like a storage area. I have a lot of boxes of things that need to be done in the kitchen still. I've got like four boxes in here of like kitchen cupboard, huge boxes, and there's nowhere else to store them in the house, so they end up getting put in here, which means that I just haven't done any strength training. So yeah, that is how I'm feeling. That's how this month has gone. Probably spanning on a lot of months, going on like 2 years. So I'm at the point where something needs to change. So we are going to do all my measures of progress now to see where I'm at. I feel like at this point I just need to fresh start everything again. So I'm going to sort of like put all of my previous weight loss like check-in videos in a playlist. Maria has done a similar thing where I just feel like we need to start from scratch and yeah, just really try and focus on it. So I'm going to put all the previous stuff in one playlist, and then I'm going to start a new playlist for this sort of new start, fresh start journey that I'm going to be taking. So yeah, we are going to do progress pictures, measurements, try on clothing now, and I will get back to you with my goals that I'm going to be doing for the month of August at the end. So let's get into it. Okay, we're going to do measurements next. So I've got my phone with my spreadsheet and a tape measure, so I'm going to take all my measurements and then I will speed this process up and get back to you when I do my when I tell you what my measurements are and if they've changed. Okay, that was difficult because it is very hot in here, I'm sweating, so like this tape measure is sticking to me. Also, I couldn't find my original tape measure, which helps because it like slots into each other and you can like pull a button to adjust it, whereas working with like a long tape measure sucked. I haven't lost or gained any measurements, I've stayed exactly the same this month, which I am happy about. Given everything that is going on, it's sort of a starting point for going forward, as I discussed earlier. So yeah, I'm happy that I haven't gained or lost, well, I'm not happy that I haven't lost, but I'm happy that I haven't gained any measurements this month and I can just start afresh from now. So we're going to move on to Gold Triangle Clothing next, see where we're at with that, and yeah, I guess we'll move on. Okay, we are going to move on to Gold Triangle Clothing section next. So as always, I have a pair of summer trousers that I am going to be trying on. So that's those, and then I'm also going to be trying on a pair of skinny jeans. I'm not looking forward to this try on section just because it's so hot in this room, but I'm going to do it anyway, so let's get to it. Right, that is as far as the summer trousers are going up. I really can't sort of cast judgment on this until I see the sort of editing as to whether or not it is higher or lower than last time, but that is where they are sitting. Oh, it's a struggle with it being so hot. Right, that's as far as I'm getting them because I'm really struggling with the heat. I do feel like they're, I don't know, I can't pull them up any further because obviously I'm so sticky, so that is where they're at. I don't think they're too far off where I was last month, so I just take it at what it is and we will move on. Okay, so that is all my measures of progress done. I've done my progress pics, I've done my measurements and my Gold Triangle clothing. I don't feel like there's been any sort of major changes. In terms of measurements, they are the same, so I feel like that's ideal for this sort of fresh start scenario that I'm going through. In terms of my intentions for the month, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do, but I feel like I'm going to have a sort of almost, if you're not familiar, there is a challenge called the 75 hard. I do not feel like the 75 hard is something that I can get on board with, just because I feel like it's very, very strict. The idea of 75 hard is that you have a few things that you are meant to do every single day for 75 days, and if you drop one of those things or don't do one of those things, you start from day one. So I think I'm going to sort of take on that premise going forward to, I think I had a look and there was either a 75 medium or a 75 soft. I'm not sure which one of those I'm going to do. I may tailor it. I'll leave a screenshot here of whatever I decide to do. But they are going to be daily things that I will do every single day in order to keep me on track, and if I like drop the ball on it, The intention is, as I've mentioned, when I usually drop the ball on things, I drop it for a very long time and I focus on that thing that's made me drop it, and then I pick it back up later. I want to get out of that sort of mentality and that trait, if you will. So it's going to be that I will do these things every day, and if I drop the ball, I get back on it the next day, and it's as simple as that. So I think the main premise for the 75 challenge is that you pick a diet. I don't like calling things diet, because anything that you do with regards to weight loss has to be a maintainable thing. So I don't like calling it a diet. It has to be changes that I am going to instill going forward. So the main thing with that is going to be tracking my calories. I'm going to be eating around maintenance calories for me, like I've mentioned in my videos in the past, just because I don't want to have a calorie restriction affect any of the training that I'm doing in the lead up to the London Marathon. Obviously when the London Marathon is finished, I will change that into being back in a calorie deficit, but until then I'm going to stick around maintenance and then have my training and things like that create the deficit, so that I'm not affecting my training in any way by restricting my calories. The other things were to take daily progress pictures. I'm not sure whether I'm going to do that. I may do. There is an app that I used to use right at the beginning of the year for taking a daily progress pic, so I might do that. There is a goal of reading 10 pages of a book. I think I'm going to do that. I think that it's going to be really important for me to read a book that is focused on the thing that I am focused on, whether that's habits. I think there's a book called Atomic Habits or something like that. I'll leave a screenshot here. I think I'm going to purchase that, and that is going to be the book that I'm going to sort of focus on reading the pages of. As I go forward. Drinking water, I'm not going to have a gallon of water of whatever ridiculous amount it was for the 75 hard, but I think like 2 litres of water or something like that to focus on is quite important. And then there was a one for exercise, which in the 75 hard was 2 45-minute sessions. One of them had to be outside, which I think is really unmaintainable. On the days where I run, that probably wouldn't have been so bad, but even then I think 2 45-minute sessions is just overkill. So I think I'm going to stick to 1 45-minute exercise session a day, and that 45-minute exercise session doesn't have to be a run, it doesn't have to be a gym session, it can just be as simple as a walk, just to get myself out. I feel like, especially on the days where I'm working from home, I don't tend to leave the house very much, and since I've sort of dropped my step goal, I'm just not as focused on going out of the house and getting fresh air, so I think that's really important. So I'll leave a solid screenshot of the actual goals that I have set for myself for the 75 challenge. I'm not going to call it 75 medium or soft or whatever, it's just I'll think of some sort of name. It may end up being the 75 soft or medium, depending on whether those goals fit with what I need. You'll see a screenshot of whatever I choose here. But that is basically what I'm going to be doing. So the 75 challenge is going to obviously span more than this month. It's probably going to take me up to marathon, well, it's going to take me over marathon training actually, so I will reevaluate closer to the time, and I guess I'll fill you in with updates in my pits and peaks and things like that with that. But yeah, other than that, it's just going to be it's just going to be about setting up good habits and making sure that I stick to them, because I feel like I need to find a solid base and routine and structure before I go back into the weight loss phase. I feel like the next 2 months is going to be me setting up really good habits and really good structure and routine ready for when I need to be focused on weight loss again come October. So we're going to have to see how it goes. Hopefully I have a really good month this month. I will keep you updated, but yeah, that is the intention. I apologise if things seem a little scrambled. I just feel like sometimes it's harder for me to get the things out in words than it would be if I wrote it down. So yeah, I apologise if it's all a bit mishmash and I can't really get a point across. Hopefully you understood what I was saying. But yeah, things have to change, so hopefully this will do the trick and I can stay focused on it and not sort of let other things that are going on in my life affect things going forward, and hopefully this time next year I will have some sort of real progress to show you. So let's see what happens. I'm going to end the video here because it's going to be very long with all the check-ins and things that I'm doing. So give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You can always click the notification bell down below to be notified of when my videos go live. Other than that, hope you're all staying safe and well. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your weekend, whenever it is that you're watching this, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye.